Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Lash here for Weekly Wrestling Heat. We are back with another episode. What's
What
going on,
up?
guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, this week's action has been jam packed. All shows delivered this week, in my opinion.
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
lot to talk
except
about.
for Raw Underground, I think all shows delivered.
We're gonna get to that in a
Yeah,
minute. I got a lot I want to say about that.
it's
Um,
interesting. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, it's interesting. It was interesting. Very out of the ordinary, shall we say, right? Should we say that?
yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Let's go ahead and start with Raw. We opened up
yeah, we're
with
gonna.
the U.S. Huh?
Go ahead.
What happened?
Go ahead.
Oh, we opened up with the U.S. title match between MVP and Apollo Crews. Fun little match. Not too long, not too short. It probably went like 7 to 9 minutes with Apollo Crews winning. During this match, the lights were going on and off, and that's what MVP blamed his loss on.
Yeah, the winner, of course, was Apollo Crews. I really enjoyed seeing Apollo Crews back, and
I kind of
he's back.
wish MVP won because they tried to make the hurt business look so much stronger towards the end of the show. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I guess it's safe to say that the reason why those lights were flickering or whatever like that, we can blame that on Raw Underground, right?
No,
no, that
retribution or whatever
Retribution
they were.
faction.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
then backstage, you have the Golden Role Models, Bailey and Sasha, doing a segment. Shayna Baszler comes out and just decks Sasha Banks in the face. I thought this was short and sweet. That's what you need to do with Shayna Baszler. Do little short, sweet segments like this. I think if there was a crowd, they would have popped. I think Shayna would have got a little tweener pop for her.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree.
I think that they're finally starting to find their group as far as it comes down to what to use Shayna Baszler for. So I think it's a good idea for what they're doing. Then we go back and there's a segment backstage where Kevin Owens walking, gets stopped by the Iconics, and then Iconics ask him if they could be in the KO show, and he says yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah.
we get back and
No, he said no. I already have guests tonight.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was thinking. I thought he said no.
He said no. I already have guests tonight. The guest is Ruby Riot. He says all the things her and Liv Morgan have gone through. She messed up by hating on Liv, and then they got emotional. The Iconics came out, basically mocked them and lost in a match to Ruby and Liv.
yeah. I thought it was a good and simple, short and sweet way to get heat on them. Man, I that slap that Peyton Royce gave Kevin Owens, and then for what you call it, for Billy Kay just to add a fuel to the fire, and the
Dude,
way KO
and then KO not getting mad, just being like, "Y'all got this."
it's like, do me a favor and just let him loose on them.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Bleacher Report. They're who we're following along with because there's so much wrestling in the week. But the very last comment on this segment, the guy's like, also, Kevin Owens should replace Ellen on network TV. He brings people together. That's all. Because Ellen's going through a lot of crap right now, which I hope is false because Ellen's done a lot of
I
people
like.
won't. She popped those ratings for WWE every now and then. She promotes most of the big events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton come face to face.
this
I
was
don't
the
understand
segment of
this.
the night. No, I mean, as far as understanding it, it was a real life. Like these guys went, like it sounded kind of like a shoot.
It
Like
was like Cena and Orton were Raw and SmackDown. Batista and Cena Raw and SmackDown. Drew was supposed to be SmackDown. Randy was supposed to be Raw. Drew effed up a couple of times. Randy effed up a
yeah,
couple of times, but Randy had a famous dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it brought real life it brought real life action into it, and it made it feel even more realer.
Dude, the last
The-
ride callback where he was like, Taker helped you, Triple H helped you, Ric Flair helped you. Who have you helped? Which we know that's not a shoot because Randy was a big fan of Jack Ryder stuff when he was doing the YouTube stuff. He was close to Heath Slater as well, I believe.
He went to bat for FTR, and before they left, I know there was an interview that FTR did, and they credited Randy and a couple of other people.
Always commenting on Jack Ryder's pictures, like when Jack Ryder won the match, he's like, "You're looking ripped, bro." Like he goes under the radar because people think he's a prick, but he's turned his real life personality around.
Yeah, and the promo between both of them was really nice. I loved it. It brought a real life feeling to it, even though as fans we know the exterior side of Randy Orton, but like both guys literally went to bat, and that was like one of the best promos I've heard from both of them in a while.
And
there's
Elias, you remember before Rumble, I told you I was scared to meet Randy Orton because of all the stories people have spread about him. And then I met the dude, super cool. I was like, "How much to RKO me?" He's like, "I haven't been drinking today, but he was a good dude."
This pretty cool.
That's one thing about Randy Orton. Randy Orton is a really cool person outside of WWE of his character, even with his character. So there was a time at the I think it was Survivor Series, when Shane McMahon got injured by that spear that Roman gave him. And he went over there and broke character and was talking to Shane's son, Shane's family, because they were worried about him. So it's like, they're like outside of the actual characters that they play. These guys are really stand-up guys. I know. So when they first started, some of them looked like dicks. Sounded like dicks, but
I really wish Mark Jindrak got a second chance, but he had all those concussions.
Yeah,
but he was one of those guys who. Matt Morgan talks about Wrestling Inc. Like he's a really good dude outside of wrestling too now.
So afterwards we get a segment with Kevin Owens backstage with Ruby and Liv, and then Ric Flair walks up to him and basically says that he offers his guidance to him, and then he's like, he tells him no, and then Ric Flair says, "Take care of yourself," blah blah blah. So he basically said, if you're concerned about everything, just tune in next week when I face Randy Orton. Afterwards, get a segment with Nia Jax and Pat Buck.
Let Monty cover this. This is Monty's segment of the week.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna say it like this. Sasha, you talking about the one with Sasha? You talking about the one with Bayley and them, right?
No, I'm talking about the Nia segment.
That. Yeah. First and foremost, okay. I mean, you put your hands on an official, and then she gets suspended without pay, and then she puts your hands on another official.
It's the same guy.
Indefinitely.
It was the same guy. So,
yeah.
I thought
Monty wishes he was Pat Buck the last 2 weeks.
I don't want to say all that now. Chill out. Nah, but what I'm saying is, I get the feeling this is gonna lead to somewhere where it's like you better pick on somebody your own size. I think it was an interesting way to write off Nia for a couple of weeks.
I think it's the right move right now.
I got an idea, and I want to say this after you get done with your thoughts. So just don't go on to the next segment before.
I thought this was a good idea for them to do, just to gain some heat on her, and then like her just come back all of a sudden and just start whooping people all around the ring. It's a good way to carry the storyline. I really enjoyed Pat Buck's how Pat Buck was able to handle and play off everything. So, but yeah, Moise, go ahead.
So we saw Shayna do the little pop, get the little pop when she punched Sasha Banks in the face. We saw Shayna say, "Asuka, I'd rather face you than Sasha Banks." Kind of showing she has some respect building. I would not mind seeing Nia off TV a couple weeks. Nia come back just thinking she's a big boss, and Shayna's like, "All right, listen, I don't know who you think you are, and this is where you turn Shayna face."
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good idea for it.
And you could
that's what I was saying.
You could
That's
put
what I
her
was
with,
saying.
like,
This is gonna lead to something.
put her with an Adam Pearce or something. Have like Adam Pearce be talking her up backstage. Pat Buck, like I don't think Pat Buck's well known enough, but like an Adam Pearce or a who Jamie Noble or someone like that, like have them talking Nia up, which WWE doesn't really rely on their producers like that. But
Yeah.
I think it could definitely work because Shayna as a heel with no crowd isn't working. You gotta do something different.
Yeah. And I think they're learning from the mistakes and stuff like that. So I think they're doing a really good job at rebuilding everything. We go from there. We go into the 24/7 championship match. Shelton Benjamin and with MVP and Lashley versus R-Truth versus Akira Tozawa with the Ninja. Ooh, snap! Basically,
a lot of people did not like this. A lot of people hated this.
I thought it was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
A lot of people didn't think Shelton should have lost.
I agree with that. I thought Shelton should have won because it should have kept the heat on them. And him running off with the 24/7 championship again was basically...
Or even Shelton, like, once he sees the Ninjas, just beat the hell out of the Ninjas, throw the belt in the ring and be like, I'm done with this shit, Like,
yeah,
I got
exactly. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't understand why any of them in the hurt business, even need that 24/7 championship. No way. I don't see the point.
Yeah, I think having a championship, I think having a championship was a good way to build them up. But we'll talk more about the
completely off topic. Did either of you guys see the Twitter video Ariya Daivari posted before coming back to 205 Live?
No.
Oh my god, he just chilling, smoking a cigar in the backyard with his shirt off. He gets a call and she's like, "Hey, this is WWE producer," and it like beeps out the name or something. And he's like, 205 ratings are struggling. We need you back on TV. And he's like, I'll be there. It was like 30 seconds, but Ariya Daivari is so underrated, dude.
Oh, I agree with that one. Ariya Daivari, even his brother, they were both underrated when he was in WWE.
And they're the perfect heat for those Saudi Arabia shows,
Yeah. Then we get into the backstage afterwards. Well, of course, Akira Tozawa won. Then we get into backstage segment with Shane and introducing the Raw Underground. Then we get an interview with Dominic Mysterio, basically challenging Seth Rollins.
You skipped Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks.
No, that's next.
Oh, on mine it's saying it was before the Raw Underground stuff.
No, I said a teaser from Shane.
Teaser.
Yeah. Oh. Then we get, of course, Dominic Mysterio saying that he's challenging Seth Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. Then it goes into Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks with Bayley. It turns into a no contest because Asuka comes out, attacks Bayley, and then they just start fighting. And then Asuka storms the ring, Sasha leaves with the title, and that ends the match.
And this is where Shayna's like, I'd rather face you because I actually respect you. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I wish you would have done like a little callback on Kyrie, like, yo, Kyrie brought it to me in the Mae Young Classic or something in NXT, something like that. I wish they would have done like a little callback, but it's good. It was good for what it was.
Yeah. Then afterwards we get a segment with Angel Garza backstage with the blonde girl from The Bachelor. And basically we go
Demi Brooke, I think.
Yeah. Then Zelina, of course, walks up and tells her off, and then we go into actually Raw Underground.
Damn, Zelina Vega, y'all here cock blocking like that?
And here's the thing: people are hating on this Bachelor tie-in, but Raw scored the highest in the women that they've scored in like 6 weeks.
Yeah. So then we get a taste of Raw Underground before the next match. What do you think? What is your honest thought on Raw Underground?
Let me get that. Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is how I feel about Raw Underground. I feel like, let me get this. I feel like Raw Underground, I like the idea, but the problem is I don't see direction in it. That's what's missing from it. I don't see any direction. Let me finish. Let me get this. Let me get this. I like the idea. I like the theme of it. I like that it's, going out of the ordinary and such, from what we used to seeing on Raw Underground, and you bringing some new flavor to the show. And personally, if you really want to know my opinion, I would put Raw Underground on that third hour. The problem is, give me some direction. I mean, it just showed up. I get that part. I mean, we just now figuring out what this is. Right?
It's only been 1 week. It's only been 1 week. Yeah, that's why I was.
It's only been 1 week. Okay, but I'm just saying, if we can get a little bit more direction as to where we're going with this, that'd be better. You got it.
Like if this leads to Shane McMahon being the leader of Retribution and the Raw Underground thing is just kind of throw everyone off, I would love it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was I thought it was something different. So here's the problem that I have with how people perceive it. So people are asking for something new every time. They're like, I wish WWE would do something new, or do something different. They pop up.
This is where
no argument there.
This is where in our group chat, a lot of us disagree with Mike on a lot of things. Mike is the average wrestling fan, is what I would say. He's the guy who doesn't care about kayfabe. He doesn't care about what's going on behind the scenes. Barely watches NXT. So when he saw this, he was like, "Whoa, this is kind of cool." So when wrestling fans are thinking it's lame, okay, yeah, we think it's lame. It's only been 1 week, whatever. But when you got the average fan thinking it's different, thinking it's kind of cool. Even LeBar said on his podcast, his wife was like, "Oh, this looks cool," until she saw the girls, obviously. But it.
But that's the problem with wrestling fans today. Like WWE, and I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. WWE has given us yes. Sometimes the storylines don't make sense. Sometimes a lot of the things that they do make you scratch your head. But they've given the crowd everything they wanted and more. They wanted Kofi as champion. They made Kofi champion. They wanted Drew McIntyre, Daniel Bryan, Drew McIntyre. They wanted everything. They given us dream matches, and people are still not happy with it. So it's like
they made Drew Gulak look good for a month for you guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they've done everything they can to try to make the crowd happy, and the crowd is still not happy. So it's you
want WWE to hear your voice when they give Drew Gulak that 1 month. Make his ass trend on Twitter. Make his merchandise sell. Buy a T-shirt. I don't care if it's not even from WWE. Have him have his best week on Pro Wrestling Tees. Because I promise you, WWE looks at that. Mustafa Ali just released a new shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees because a lot of people were pissed off. He's been on Main Event the last 2 weeks.
But there's nothing wrong with being on Main Event. It gives people time. It's just like trying to
Mustafa does not need to be losing to Riddick Moss on Main Event.
Well, that's different. But the fact, it's like people getting mad over somebody like freaking. So it's like people don't get mad over all these guys having spots on AEW Dark. It's like it's kind of backwards. Like you're contradicting yourself. You're like, oh, Dark is good, but Main Event isn't worth anything. But Main Event and 205 Live have actually been pretty good these past couple of weeks. If you watch 205 Live, there was this match with Swerve Scott. I forgot somebody who else. But
Tony Nese? Was it Tony Nese?
Tony Nese, yeah, Tony Nese. They had a match. These guys did a freaking flip over the rope and landed standing up, and it was awesome. Like the 205 Live is literally has turned around for the best. Like you've seen great matches in 205 Live. You give these people TV time by putting them on Main Event. It's what else do you want from to me? It's like what else do you want from WWE to do to try to please everybody? Do you want them to go back to it? Do you want them to go back to do you want them to go back to the Attitude Era? Like that's what it seems people keep bringing up, the fact that WWE is not edgy enough. WWE is not everything was good in the Attitude Era, but now it's just so vanilla. I'm like, you got to think about it. They're PG-14. They can't go back to the Attitude Era. They can't do half of the stuff they did in the Attitude Era. So they're trying to.
And if you watch the Attitude Era, we're not the only ones saying this. I promise you, listen to any podcast, 2/3 of the panel will say the Attitude Era was very except for 2 or 3 segments that popped.
Yeah. So it's like now you look at stuff like what these guys are doing. I had a discussion so off topic. So it was a thread on this wrestling page that I'm part of. They're like, this guy was like, oh well, there's no he was talking about AEW. He was like basically like he named all the ex-WWE guys that came to AEW. He's like, no, none of these guys are really important. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's the fact that back then there was a top star. So when Hogan left WWE and went to AEW and went to WCW, that made sense because he was the flag bearer of.
Even when he went to TNA, they were pulling $1 million.
Exactly. And then when Ric Flair left WCW, it hurt them. So it's like you had a standard bearer. You went from Hogan to Hogan, then you went to Shawn Michaels, then you went to
WWE.
Yeah, WWE. Like has their
top guy. DX. Yeah, then you went to DX.
Then it went to the Rock, Stone Cold, The Rock. Then
Mankind,
it went from Mankind. Then it went to John Cena carrying the WWE flag for years. He was the top guy. He was the face of the company. The good thing
can we add Brock Lesnar to this too?
We can. On SmackDown, he was him and Edge were the.
Or we'll just say the ruthless aggression era.
Him, Edge, and Eddie were carrying SmackDown.
Yeah, but you had a top guy. You had a top guy, like that main guy that you invest all the money in. Right now, AEW is invested in Chris Jericho. When you look at that, when you look at Chris Jericho and him being the top guy of the company, being that monster heel that everybody loves, if Chris Jericho were to leave the company one day, they will have to build somebody to be at Jericho's level.
And that's what they're doing with MJF.
Exactly. So the thing about WWE is they have top guys. They don't have a standard flag bearer like they used to. They have top guys. If you look at it, you had Roman Reigns, Charlotte, you had Becky Lynch, you had Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. When Ambrose, Brock Lesnar, and Roman went away for a while, because Roman hasn't been on TV since pre-COVID, you had Seth Rollins step up, Rey Mysterio step up, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt. In the women, when Charlotte and Becky left, you had Asuka, you have
Rhea,
Sasha, Bailey, Rhea. You have all these women step up as top people.
One more thing. And wait it out. Like, you can see that they're turning the leaves on probably Peyton Royce, but definitely Bianca Belair.
There's a report. There's a report out there that Vince McMahon is high on Peyton and Bianca Belair.
And so those are his 3 right now.
Yeah, so those are his favorite people right now. So it's like you can't. People need to realize that WWE is running like a machine, like a well-oiled machine. So you don't miss. Yes, these people leave or go away for a while, but you still have people carrying the company, carrying the brands. Like in Raw, you look to Drew McIntyre, you look to Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, you look up to Sasha and Bailey. Bailey and Sasha. You look up to in SmackDown, you look at Braun, Bray. You still look at you look at all these people carrying NXT. You got the Undisputed Era. You have Finn Balor. You have Damian Priest. You have Rhea Ripley. You have all these people carrying the brands, and people still not happy with what WWE is doing. NXT is giving us great matches week after week. Yes, some of them are kind of bland, but it's the same thing with AEW. You look at them and you're like, well, okay, this match wasn't good, but here's the thing. Here's the difference between WWE and AEW right now. WWE is just running like a well-oiled machine. Just keep going with the same with what they trust. AEW is doing the pop factor, so they'll put in these high spots. They'll bring in these people that know that people know that, oh shoot, I haven't seen. Take it for example, this week with the debate, they brought Eric Bischoff. People are like, oh crap, Eric Bischoff's on TNT. I gotta tune into this. So it's like you have these pop factors that they're doing that people love, that people are like, and then you have I'm going on a rant now. Then you have reporters that are carrying the narrative that are like, oh, WWE is doing so badly that they're doing this is that they're just putting out bad report, and then throwing spoilers out there. But nobody does the same thing with AEW. No, in the past couple of months, you see more WWE spoilers than you see AEW spoilers. So it's like both WWE and AEW are doing pre-recorded shows. Why not? Why don't you have spoilers on AEW, but you do everything on WWE? So it's like the narrative is there to actually try to get people to tune into AEW because, oh, we're spoiler free, we're giving you this and that, and then you have the reporters being like, well, WWE is doing this, people are not happy here, people are not happy there. Why does it matter if things are not going, if backstage things are going to shit? Like, report the news exactly what you need to report. Stop throwing negative press towards WWE because you want to help AEW get more ratings. Like, okay, my rant's over. But anyways, I was
just gonna respond to that. That's all.
Go ahead.
I agree with you on a lot of stuff, Elias, but let me just say this, just for everybody that's watching. Number one, you can't please everyone. All these people talking about, oh God, why don't WWE have this going on? Or y'all get mad because of a storyline. First of all, understand, to be honest with you, from the month of, we're going to say April to right now, anything of the term ratings, I really do not care about because it's kind of like an unfair bias situation.
Everything is going on. That's what people don't understand. Everything is down.
Thank you. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, back to what you were saying, Elias, people over here hating because they want to try to help out AEW. I asked the question, who are y'all mad at? Are you mad at the screenwriters because you feel like the storylines don't make sense? Or are you mad at the people that's being biased because 9 times out of 10, they don't watch wrestling only one time a freaking week and only watch AEW, don't care what Raw, SmackDown, or NXT got going on? So it's just stuff like that you got to pay attention to.
Okay? Oh, I'm sorry, I had something in my throat.
No, okay. But like, okay,
and it's just let me finish. And the thing and then see, this is the thing that, and again, back to what I was saying earlier, this is the thing that pisses me off about when it comes to these ratings. I really don't care about them because guess what? No fans. What pop do you think? I mean, is the pop that we're receiving with AEW and WWE, is it even normal? Because guess what? We still got this situation going on. So anything that these people got to say as far as how SmackDown is doing, or how WWE's world is running like a well-oiled machine, or how AEW is bringing the pop factor, it doesn't make a bit of a difference.
And I promise
we ain't got no fans to sit here and respond to this.
I promise you guys, if the NFL doesn't have fans, their ratings gonna take a hit too. I promise.
Exactly.
You.
NBA and MLB are taking, and even soccer are taking rating slumps. Like, come on, like you see all this stuff going on, and the ratings are down everywhere. People are not.
Which brings to what I was.
One second. Okay. Yesterday in soccer, Juventus, who has Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the top 2 players in the world, lost in some game that they had no business losing. I didn't even know about it until I got on Twitter because no one cares.
Nope. So think about, okay, so
go ahead. The point I'm trying to make is this, Elias. It doesn't matter whether you sit here and say, and you say, well, I ain't gonna watch WWE, I'll just tune into AEW. It doesn't matter if you got some bandwagons on AEW trying to say, well, never mind, I'll go watch Raw then. It's not gonna make a bit of a sense, people. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So the fact that you're sitting over here hating on AEW because you like WWE or vice versa, it really don't make a bit of a difference because guess what? At the end of the day, everybody's in the same shit.
Well, okay, so put it like this. So we look at the ratings, right? Let's
doesn't
like
matter.
Well, let's do this. We'll come back to the SmackDown Raw and stuff like that. We'll do a quick. We'll finish the recap in a little bit, but look at the ratings. So when you look at the ratings on cable ratings for Nielsen, you see for Raw was top 10 all 3 hours in the demos, but the media sources, when they report it, they only report the numbers. So they're like, oh, Raw was slumped down or Raw went down, and they only report the numbers, but they don't report the demos. But when it comes down to AEW versus NXT, the demos are all of a sudden important. So look, I'm looking at yesterday's freaking demo stuff for ratings for SmackDown. Both hours, hour one got 1.924. Second hour got 1.988, and then on the demos they were 0.2, 0.5, 0.7 on the 18 to 54. So it's like and then same thing with Raw. Raw was top key demo on Monday. So it's like, yeah, like you're kind of trying to like shit on people for shit on AEW and all that for on the demos. You're like, oh, AEW won on the demos, but then you look at Raw, 9 o'clock got 1.824. 8 o'clock got 1.7. 9 o'clock got 1.8, and 10 o'clock got 1.6. They were top 4, 5, and 6 on the top 10 of the ratings. So it's like, okay, where do you want people to actually say, why doesn't that stuff get reported? Like you see where the narrative is starting to change now, where everybody only worries about Wednesdays, but Monday and Fridays they only worry about the full numbers, but they don't report the ratings. They don't put the demo. So like, why does the demo matter on Wednesdays but doesn't matter Monday and Fridays? I'm just saying, like that.
Not to mention the fact that y'all shitting on these shows for circumstances beyond people's control. That's all I was saying. So I agree with you on everything that you said, but I get what you're saying.
Let's get back to shows because we do have a lot more to cover too.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Then we get Angelo Dawkins with Montez Ford versus Angel Garza. Angel Garza got the victory out of that one. And then we get Montez Ford versus Andrade. This is where the match went to a no contest because Ford fell out. Montez fell out. He literally fell out as he was gaining momentum. He did the warrior shake, and then all of a sudden he just fell out and out. So they called for help. Basically, then afterwards we get a Murphy shown backstage talking about Seth. He basically said also he made the right decision, and they must focus on the future. Then we go back to Raw Underground. Man, the freaking Eric from the Viking Raiders, that freaking finisher that he put on that guy. This is where I started getting more interested in it. Yeah.
Who was that tall Samoan looking dude?
Babatunde.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Then afterwards, we get a segment where Charlie Caruso's up there. Then Angel Garza comes out and starts flirting with her. He hands her a rose, and Selena Vega basically appears with Andrade and says that they're worried about Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins comes out, says that the doctor says that Montez was poisoned, that he thinks. Bianca comes out and then asks Selena, what did she do to him? Vega's like, she didn't do anything. And then he's like, I won't ask you again. Has she taken off her earrings? And then Vega's like, I didn't do anything. And then Bianca goes ham on Zelina. And then the guys had to pull them apart. Afterwards, we get security footage from the new faction that they're the ones that are causing all the disturbance on the performance center, where they basically start fire on one of the generators. Afterwards, we get a segment. What is it? Yeah. Afterwards, we get a segment from Seth Rollins where he basically says that he at first starts saying that, that match against Dominic, it's a no. and then he goes to starts going towards Tom Phillips, and then he's basically saying that he should be the one, that he's a liability, that he should be the one to suffer the fate. And basically they try to take Murphy goes up and tries to take Tom Phillips, but Samoa Joe stands up. This is where I like this segment. Samoa Joe.
And I did like that part.
Samoa Joe's bass, his bass in his voice just adds so much to the story. It's so underrated. When he got up, my dad was like falling asleep. He popped. He was like, "Oh shit, Samoa Joe's getting involved." Freaking Dominic comes out, beats the hell out of him with a kendo stick.
I was on Twitter when that was happening, and I didn't watch Raw until afterwards. I recorded it and watched it afterwards. But when I was on Twitter, I saw them like people pop for Samoa Joe standing up for Tom Phillips, and then all of a sudden distracting them to the point where Dominic comes in and just starts going ham on them.
Ham on everyone.
Dude, yeah. I want Dominic to get signed by WWE, whether he goes out to NXT or stays on the main roster. This kid has something about him that spells money. Like the way he's been doing stuff, the way that he's been he's catching on, he's able to do, he has decent promos, the way he's selling stuff. This kid has a bright future ahead of him, whether it's with WWE, whether he goes to the Indies, where he goes to AAA, CMLL, wherever he goes, AEW, I don't care. This kid has money spelled after him.
Yeah.
So then so afterwards we go back to Raw Underground and we see Dolph Ziggler like going ham on somebody.
Dolph Ziggler looking the best he has on WWE TV since he cashed in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this dude, this is where I start getting invested in Raw Underground, because you see stuff like that. Like you're giving the spotlight to these people that you don't usually give the spotlight to. I mean Eric, Dolph Ziggler, and then afterwards, the Hurt Business comes out and just mollywops everybody. Just
says, "Hey, we're under new management. We're taking over."
Lashley beating the crap out that guy, and then Dio Madden stepping up against Shelton and Shelton taking him out. It's just like I'm invested.
I like it. I'm invested in it. I think the only thing that, like I said again, I'm invested in it. I like the situation. I just need to know what direction are y'all taking with it, because I don't want this to be we just gonna whoop everybody behind and keep it moving. I don't need this to be NWO-ish, if that makes any sense.
I don't think that's gonna be NWO-ish. I think given a couple of weeks, we'll have something more definite. I think we just need to trust in the product of what they're trying to do. And that's how Raw goes off the air.
I understand.
The Hurt Business is just standing tall on there. So that was Raw in a nutshell. Let's get into Friday Night SmackDown, which happened yesterday. I really enjoyed SmackDown. Man, it was pretty awesome. We start off the show with the Firefly Funhouse basically that he's been getting some DMs on his Instagram about what he did to Alexa Bliss, and then he said that it was all Strowman's fault. He said that he'll be there later on, basically teasing the next segment of when he comes back on. Then we get Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. This match actually pretty good until Shorty G came out and caused a disqualification. This made Riddle destroy Shorty G, and then Sheamus basically took him out with a brogue kick. And then Sheamus cut a promo on Shorty G and Corbin's bounty. Basically said and then he nailed another brogue kick before leaving on Shorty G.
I would love to see Sheamus take Matt Riddle under his wing.
I would love that too. I think it would be a good combination. Then
Sheamus
you have
and Riddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they beat the fuck out of people.
Then you got then you go backstage. Corbin was talking to some woman. Sheamus walked up and basically said, "Hey, I have a beef because your boy interrupted my match." And Corbin was like, he's lucky he has a match against Jeff Hardy. If not, he'll then in school. That's how the segment ended. And we go into the dirt sheets. I enjoy Miz and Morrison when they do the dirt sheet.
The hair stuff was stupid. I liked everything else.
Yeah, that's the only negative about that I saw. Basically, they called out Sonya Deville came out and basically they start talking mess. And then Heavy Machinery comes out and runs everybody off. Afterwards, we get a quick match between Cesaro and Lince Dorado. Cesaro looks good. Lince Dorado made Cesaro look good this match.
We need another tag team or two in SmackDown right now. I know the Usos are hurt. Forgotten Sons are forgotten.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to be on TV for a minute. Probably until the election. We only have two teams on SmackDown right now. With New Day being hurt too.
New Day being out the picture, Diggy getting a solo run.
Sheamus and Matt. Oh my god! Sheamus and Matt Riddle against Cesaro and Knock. Oh my god!
I think that's where it's leading, kind of, and I think Shorty G and Corbin are going to team up eventually. I like that interesting combination because they went from enemies to frenemies. Then we get the segment with the Fiend. He comes out, and then the ring comes back, and Alexa Bliss is in the same spot that she was at. And then he was gonna go for the mandible claw on Alexa Bliss, and then she blocked him and petted the Fiend's face. Then the Fiend pushed Bliss off, and Braun appeared on this big screen. He said he doesn't give a damn about Alexa Bliss. He just cares about destroying Bray Wyatt. He knew what he was getting into when he walked into the swamp. And he called himself the most evil son of a bitch ever, and knowing that he ripped the devil limb from the limb. Since I guess now Braun Strowman is taking kind of a heel turn. Braun said he's a nightmare.
I think this is.
I don't think it's a heel turn.
I think he's acting like he doesn't care, but I think Alexa's gonna screw him at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Then the segment ends with basically saying that Braun's telling him that he's going to destroy him at SummerSlam, and that's how the segment ends. Then we get a match between Jeff Hardy and King Corbin.
Basically runs out, causes a distraction. Hardy gets to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
and then
Sheamus comes out, bro kicks Hardy, disqualifying Braun
Corbin.
Sheamus, or then turns into Corbin and Sheamus. Then Matt Riddle runs out, distracts Braun, Sheamus, bro kick, game over.
Yeah. Then we get the golden role models come out. They're talking mess, basically saying that, hey, we're the best, blah blah blah. Then Miss Stephanie McMahon comes out on the Titatron and says that they're trying to basically kiss up to her. And then here's the interesting part that caught my attention that I like. She announced a 3-brand battle royale for next week's SmackDown, where the winner of that battle royale will face Bayley at SummerSlam. So I'm interested to see who's going to win this.
Who do you think is going to win it?
I don't know, because if that's a way to bring somebody from NXT up, it could be
okay. So I don't think Rhea or Mercedes wins if they got their own program going on, right?
Yeah.
Dakota and Io, same thing.
I already have same thing. It could be Chelsea Green. It could be Vanessa Bourne.
Candice, Mia
Yim. On the Raw side, it could be Natalia. It could be Shayna Baszler. It could be because Shayna does have beef with them. So it could be Asuka.
Or if you want to keep it simple, stupid, like a lot of people like the booking, let Naomi win it.
Yeah, Naomi too. Then this is the end of it. Afterwards, we get Miz and Morrison versus Heavy Machinery.
Tucker looks good. Tucker looks good, bro.
Tucker looks really good. Then we get during the match we get a run-in by Mandy Rose with shorter hair. I like this look on her.
Yeah, I like the hot soccer mom look. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks to Corey Graves, the hashtag is trending on Twitter and Instagram. She even put out there hot soccer mom look. Then afterwards, they basically it was a no contest. They were pulled apart. They went backstage, and they were still arguing. They're still trying to fight. Then the lights go out, and then Retribution invaded the PC. Baseball bats ran everybody off, destroyed the ring, and started spray painting stuff. And they beat up all the NXT, all the crowd in the all the people in the crowd, and that's how SmackDown went off air.
Do you think these are actual members, or do you think these are stand-ins?
I think right now they're stand-ins, but I think it's 3 men and 2 women.
Okay, so I have my 5 that I put together.
Who do you think these individuals are?
Okay, I think it's Leo Rush, because there was a black guy in there. I think it's Leo Rush. He was a shorter black guy. I saw curly hair with like red highlights, making me think Vanessa Bourne. The super kick reminded me of Carmella or Lana, either or. And then I think the next 2 you do Riddick Moss and Dominik Dijakovic.
It could be. I think it's Vanessa Bourne, Chelsea Green, Dominik Dijakovic. It's probably Swerve.
You think it's Swerve? Okay.
It's Swerve.
No, I don't think it's Swerve because he still got his situation with old buddy and Del Tasma.
Oh
so
yeah,
I don't think it's him.
I don't know.
You have to have.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going.
That's what I'm saying, Leo, because you have to have.
Oh wait, it could be Ricochet and Ricochet. Cedric. It could be and Cedric Ali.
The African American male looked pretty short. That's the only reason I'm saying Leo.
It could probably be Cedric too, because Cedric is short.
Yeah, but with Cedric's hair, I think the beanie would look weird on it because he's got like that mohawk.
I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see who this faction
so don't even ask. So don't even ask me who I think.
I think the women. Lost. I think the women are Chelsea Green and Vanessa Bourne because they were called up. I think they were called up and they haven't been used.
I think it's Mella and Vanessa Bourne.
They are rumors that it is Carmella too.
Why did Corey not get attacked? And Corey said he would love to be. Corey said he would love to do something, like something with match work, whether it's manager or if he can get cleared for another match. Let Corey be the mouthpiece if it is Swerve.
There's no telling. I'm pretty like people have like kind of like made fun of it because they're like, oh, somebody made fun of it saying that, oh, the Dark Order joined WWE now. But I'm actually interested because it looks like little by little the
it did look kind of Dark Order-ish though.
It looks like little by little the brand split is ending. So you're starting this.
We think it's ending. This could also be the setup to the draft pay-per-view. That's
that too. Yeah, so, but I'm interested to see how it's gonna go because we have Survivor Series in a couple of months. We have SummerSlam coming up in a couple of weeks, and then we have then it's gonna all lead to the Royal Rumble. So I'm interested to see how these storylines are developing, but I'm interested to see who Retribution really is. Whether it will stand in for now and waiting on the next one, but I'm interested to see who these guys really are. All right, that was Friday Night SmackDown in a nutshell. Let's get into NXT.
Elias, I don't think he's part of it, but this would be so good for Drake Maverick if he was like, yeah, Triple H gave me a contract, but he also let me go. And then have him be the mouthpiece for Chelsea Green being like, I worked with this girl in many promotions. Vanessa Bourne, I've known since NXT. Dijakovic is a badass. Like he can hit the Chelsea Green thing with working with her in previous promotions. He can hit the Dominik and Vanessa Bourne point with NXT. And then fifth member, he could be like, y'all called up Riddick Moss and did absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see exactly where this is going to lead.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting, to say the least.
I would love to see Vanessa Borne in that group. Even if it is Carmella, I wouldn't be mad at it either. But I do want to see Chelsea Green again. So I think my inner tuition is, which is I'm usually right because when I call some of these things, they come true. I think it's Chelsea Green.
Could be.
All right, let's kick off SmackDown. SmackDown was pretty interesting this week. I really enjoyed it.
We just finished SmackDown, bro.
I mean NXT. My bad. Let's get into NXT. We had NXT kick off with Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. This match was good. I enjoyed how Rhea Ripley and Dakota Kai worked together. I enjoyed how
please realize Dakota Kai was getting mauled the whole doggone match. Now she got up a little bit, but Jesus Christ. Rhea Ripley was tearing her new behind the whole entire, for the most part of the
match. That boot looked sick by Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
I thought it.
And then Mercedes coming out, attacking Rhea, getting Dakota to win. Rhea cut open right underneath her eye. That was gnarly.
I thought that was under her nose.
No, they busted her nose too.
Right.
Yeah. I think maybe she caught the boot wrong on the nose, and then maybe a scratch from Mercedes. Maybe a nail from, maybe the other way around. Maybe a stiff punch from Mercedes and a nail from Dakota, something like that. But yeah, then we went on to the second match. I'm gonna jump ahead just so we can skip this because we're already at 50 minutes. Robert Stone saying you may be done with the Stone brand, Rhea, but the Stone brand ain't done with you. Aaliyah laughing and Mercedes just looking like a badass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then we get into a Bronson Reed versus Shane Thorne. I thought that they're making Bronson Reed look really good.
Dude, this and then even the promo after Triple Threat.
Yeah. Then we get Breezango coming out to the arena, and then Legado del Fantasma coming out and attacking them, basically saying, "Hey, you make fun of Lucha Libre, we're gonna make an example out of you." And then
WWE. I know NXT parking lots aren't safe.
I thought that was a shot. I thought that was a shot at Starter, though.
Us three will work security for free in that parking lot if you want us to.
Hell yeah!
That parking lot has a lot of shit going on. Since KO was there, shit.
Yeah. Then they kidnap Tyler Breeze and put him in the back of the SUV and ride off. Fandango. Yeah. They put Fandango in the back and then they roll off. Then we get Damian Priest versus Oney Lorcan versus Rich Holland in the qualifying match for the NXT North American Championship ladder match. This match, I think this match was the match of the night.
Let me get this one.
Go ahead.
Rich Holland, we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. Book it.
Dude, I like that guy. That guy reminds me of a freaking Australian Brock Lesnar.
I agree.
No, not Brock Lesnar. He reminds me of an Australian Triple H. Do you see this man physique?
Yeah, he's ripped. He was a rugby player, got kicked out of rugby league. He was too rough on people.
Yeah,
dude, he's dangerous. I'm enjoying him. Like the first time I saw him, I was like, ooh, because he was in NXT UK.
Go watch his NXT UK matches. Yeah, this guy is a
monster. Like I've seen stuff from him. This dude, even I seen some plays from his rugby days. God, he hits hard. Like,
dude, when NXT was doing the live circuits, they had him coming out with the Usos to get pops, dude. So someone sees something.
Yeah, the way he bum rushed Lorcan, I was like, okay.
Lorcan is he's never gonna be a upper card guy, but he is a great hand.
Great mid card guy.
He can definitely be like another Cesaro.
Yeah,
have him get
I like that.
Have him get a couple surprise wins, you know. But yeah, Damian Priest picking up the win, pinning Lorcan. then Regal announcing everyone who hasn't been pinned will be in a fatal 4-way to decide that last spot.
Yeah.
Is it last spot or last two?
Last spot.
Because Dexter Lumis hurt his ankle.
Right. I remember that. But I thought it was two more spots.
No, it's 2 more spots, but you got to think about it. That next... No, it's one more.
Cameron Grimes, mystery opponent, and someone else next week.
Oh, okay.
And then the following week, whoever didn't get pinned, it's the 4-way.
Yeah, because this was the fourth person. This was the fourth match this week. So we had Bronson Reed, we had Dexter Lumis. Okay. Yeah. And then this week, Damian Priest won. So next week, yeah. Then we go into Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes in a non-title match. God, Keith Lee came out with a new aggression this week. Like he's more focused. He was more aggressive this week. It was a good match. I enjoyed the match though. Cameron Grimes came with it too. I'm really sold on Cameron Grimes right now. He's good. He's good on the mic. He's good talking mess, and he backs it up in the ring. Afterwards, we get of course Keith Lee got the victory with the Spirit Bomb. Afterwards, Karen Cross comes out and says that since he hasn't seen Regal and Lee is the only man that can make it happen, he's like, all this is on you. And he pulls back and he's standing over the body of Danny Burch. And as he walks away, the whole locker room in there, all the guys in the locker room are knocked out.
And they announced next week we're going to get Danny Burch and Karrion Kross. That triple threat between Grimes. Who's the second person? Grimes, Kushida, and a mystery opponent who I think is going to be Velveteen Dream.
I think it might be that other guy that they're it's another guy that they were announcing that they there's another guy, I forgot who it was.
UK talent or
no, I think they signed him. I think it's a UK talent. I forgot who. I'm interested. I could see Velveteen Dream in the match though.
I would love that. I would love Pete Dunne. I would love Tyler Bate, whichever one of them lives in Florida, if any of them do. I would love any of those three. Velveteen, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, I think would be perfect. Let them get the win. Let Grimes get pinned. Give us that 4-way between Balor, Kushida, Ridge Holland, and Gargano.
Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty nasty right there if that happens. All right, so then we get
let me make a prediction. I think Thatcher is going to screw Balor out of the fatal 4-way. So I think we're going to get Thatcher and Balor at
NXT TakeOver. I can see that because that they still had beef from after that match.
And then I could see maybe Kushida, Grimes costing one another and Holland getting the pin, and that gives us Kushida, Grimes at TakeOver as well because Kushida hasn't been on TV in a minute.
Yeah. Then we get a segment by Legado del Fantasma. They bring Fandango into the ring and they start attacking him. And then Tyler Breeze comes out and then he gets beat down too. Escobar gets a mic and calls out Isaiah Scott. And he's basically like, speak my name. And this would happen. Basically, this will be a future. Basically saying,
keep my name
out your mouth. Then afterwards, we get a segment between Damian Priest and backstage. Bronson Reed comes out and congratulates him. Basically, Priest confronts him and saying basically, get this out your mind that you're not winning. Pat McAfee comes back.
He's like, you ain't that big compared to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that line by Priest. And Priest just exudes, oh my God, the charisma he has. Monty, who do you think wins next week? You think Priest gets to win, or do you give it to?
I think Bronson gets to Regan.
I think Priest can take a loss if he's going to win the title.
Yeah. Then Pat McAfee comes on commentary with Tom Phillips, and then McAfee says that he's got to be in good graces with NXT, and then he'll be.
Well, you skipped Monty's thought.
Monty, who do you think will win out of Priest and Bronson Reed?
Thank you. I was gonna say I really want Bronson Reed to win, but I'm quite sure they'll let. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Bronson Reed.
If Bronson Reed wins, I think Priest wins the title. If Bronson Reed wins, I think Priest wins the title.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I can see that happening. Then afterwards we get a.
But we're talking about as far as next week go, Bronson Reed.
Okay. Then afterwards we get a quick match between Tegan Nox and Indy Hartwell. Of course, Tegan Nox takes the victory. Then we get a. Then we get
I like
the
Indy
main
Hartwell.
event. The main event of the night,
I like Indy Hartwell more than Tegan Nox. But you guys know my thoughts on Tegan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then we get the main event, which is Imperium, Marcel Barthel, and Fabian Aichner versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship. Match is really good, back and forward.
Go back and watch this match, not paying attention to Pat McAfee. Because Pat McAfee took a lot away from the match, and that's great because he was there to do that. But go back and just watch the match. Oh my God, these guys.
God, he hit Bobby Fish hits a diving senton on Martel on the apron.
I honestly thought Undisputed was gonna win that.
Was it Monty that said was it you that said you see Marcel Barthel being a? Did you say Marcel Barthel you see in the future being a big single star?
I think it was him, or I think it was you. I forgot who said that.
I think Marcel is going to be money as a single star.
I think it was you that said that.
Yeah, I think if they split Marcel from Imperium, I think
I can see that.
I think he's got that look that the ladies like too, you know. So
yeah. Then while the match is going on, Pat McAfee is pissing the commentary team off that even Beth Phoenix was like, "I'm out."
I didn't understand that. No, run that through me one more time. Why did she piss off? How did he piss off Beth Phoenix? That's the part I was kind of lost.
Because he thinks of Adam Cole as her student, as one of her proteges, because she's on NXT. So he's like, "Why are you crapping on this guy? He's been the longest reigning champion." He's like, "Yeah, but he's a midget or whatever, you know."
Yeah, it's basically how Pat McAfee selling.
You're crapping on the business.
Yeah. So Pat McAfee is just causing heat for himself to for one, he's saying it loud enough where Adam Cole could hear it, and at the second, he's actually trying to be an asshole about it. So he's like he's basically showing his disdain for Adam Cole at the same time trying to crap on the business, and that's what because even on Twitter, Beth Phoenix was like, I understand why Adam Cole did it, even though it was unprofessional. Pat McAfee can be a little bit of a bugger sometimes. So that's where everything came from that aspect. As the match goes on, McAfee keeps talking mess. Adam Cole goes over to McAfee and tells him to chill out. McAfee taunts him, and then Adam Cole tosses the bottle of water at him. And Cole tells Pat to do something, but then afterwards, the referee, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, come down to separate them. As that's happening, Undisputed Era gets distracted, and Imperium uses the advantage to take down O'Reilly, get him out the ring, and hit the European bomb on Bobby Fish to pin him and retain the titles. Afterwards, as McAfee is trying to get escorted from the arena, Adam Cole keeps talking mess, and then McAfee comes over and then basically says he's still going to be a little bitch, and then he goes on and hits a punt kick on Adam Cole, knocking him out. Triple H pushes him and tries to push him out, and then as he's walking out, Pat McAfee saying that this is very unprofessional place you got running here, and then walks out. Has Shawn Michaels is checking out Adam Cole, and that's how the show ends. I wasn't as invested in this storyline between McAfee and Adam Cole.
You thought it was real.
I thought it was real. I really thought it was a real shoot. But now that they're turning it into, figuring out it's a work, I'm interested more because is this Pat McAfee's way of actually getting onto NXT as a wrestler?
Or a manager. I think he'd be great.
Or a manager.
I'm gonna say it like this. Elias. Number one, I enjoyed every inch of Pat McAfee kicking the shit out of Adam Cole. That's number one. All of that doggone the Undisputed Era, we back running over people. You got what you deserve, homie, because you still a itty bitty. You know what's up. I understand it. So for me, I'm just saying, but I'm just letting you know. If you think I'm supposed to sit here and get on the bandwagon of Adam Cole because of this, you are sadly mistaken. It's not going to happen. I enjoyed every minute of it. Now, I was still lost on how this affected the business of WWE rather than Adam Cole himself, but
it created buzz. It created buzz because outside of this, they're pretty cool with each other.
Right.
So it created the buzz. It created it was on freaking it was on ESPN. Then afterwards freaking Triple H went on to ESPN and was like, "Hey, Pat McAfee, we make people famous. You want to be famous? Come on." Adam Cole challenged you to a match at SummerSlam. Pat McAfee accepted from his honeymoon. So it's a buzz. It's buzzworthy. Adam Cole is one of the best workers out there too, so he'll make Pat McAfee look really good in the ring.
Oh no, I respect Adam Cole's talent. Don't get it twisted. I know that man can work. I'm just talking about for the story, for the purposes of the story related, storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you think I'm supposed to get on the Adam Cole bandwagon right now, you're sadly mistaken. It's not happening. But continue.
Well, that makes one of you because I'm on the Adam Cole wagon.
Okay.
All right, let's get into AEW.
God damn it, dude. We have one more. Okay, let's do it.
All right, we'll make this quick. The Dynamite kicks off with the Dark Order versus the Elite and FTR. Compared to last week's 8-man, the Jurassic Express and Best Friends versus I
don't want to see anything more than a 6-man in AEW anymore.
Thank you, Moise.
You're making your referees. You're making your referees look stupid. You're making FTR look stupid because they went there to promote tag team wrestling by the rules. You're making Jericho look stupid because he went on Conan's podcast and said these guys need to learn how to tag and learn about the 10-second rule that AEW has or whatever. You're making your tag team champions look dumb because it seems like they don't have a rule book. Like, I think it's really stupid all around. You're doing it all to pop you're doing it all, like Elias said, to pop everyone in the crowd. But we see enough of that. We see enough of that in your later matches.
Yeah, that first match didn't make no sense whatsoever.
It was all over the place. But storyline wise, it did build to the divide between the tag team champions and the FTR. It looks like one of the FTR guys got injured, so I think it was Dax that got injured, or
the bald one, Dax,
the bald one, and him, Hangman and the other guy took him backstage. Then Dark Order took over.
Then you know what's funny, Elias? Remember in WWE in NXT they started that chant, "Which one's Dax? Which one's Dawson?" I still don't know which one's Dax, which one's whatever the other name is.
I don't know. I keep forgetting. Anyways, this match gets Hangman Page comes back, clears the ring, and then the Dark Order takes over because of numbers. And there was this cool thing where they cleared the ring and they were gonna get ready to do their finisher on Brody Lee. The Dark Order takes everybody. Hangman misses the buckshot lariat, and Brody Lee hits the discus lariat for the win. I think it was a good way to make the Dark Order look stronger, which is something that they needed. And it also adds heat on this division between Omega and Hangman, and also the FTR. Then afterwards, we get Santana and Ortiz versus the Best Friends. I really hate that the Santana and Ortiz are taking losses like this, dude.
And then go fuck up somebody's car afterwards. But okay.
It was a good match. I'm not gonna lie. But then the Best Friends pick up the win. Then afterwards, we get a segment of MJF in the campaign room, basically berating everybody in the staff.
And if you're not smiling, don't say nothing at all.
Basically, also at the same time, he's like, he would rather Darby Allin to win instead of Moxley because he rather face Darby Allin than Moxley. Then afterwards, we get Matt Hardy in the ring saying that he tried to convert and pull. He sees that Private Party sees him and his brother, and that he tried to help Sammy, but now he wants to hurt him. Sammy Guevara pops up and they start brawling. It just leads out upstairs and then leads to what Sammy got heat on backstage afterwards, where he throws a chair on him and opens up Matt Hardy. And then he did a dive where he put Matt Hardy through a table.
If you think Matt Hardy's really mad about this, you are getting worked on Twitter.
Yeah, you really are.
And Reby did a great job too, saying "dumbass" or whatever she said.
I think from what I've read, that wasn't the chair he was supposed to throw. He got the wrong chair.
I agree he messed up, but Matt Hardy's been in the company so long, and LeBard made this point on Wrestling Inc. Matt Hardy wouldn't take the blood spot if he knew the table spot was right after.
Yeah.
Right. But he took it. He was probably fine with, Sammy's young,
Sammy's
a kid, bro. That's fine.
Yeah, it happens. Like, it's just, accidents happen, and it wasn't meant to happen, but it happened, so it is what it is. Hopefully Sammy learns from it and learns to look for the right thing next time. Afterwards,
and then I'm gonna be honest with you, Sammy. You already on thin ice for the last situations.
Nah, he's not on thin ice. He's not on thin ice. Chill out with that.
Sasha forgave him.
Yeah, he's good. Okay. Then afterwards, we see Santana and Ortiz destroying Trent's mom vehicle. I wish they would have used an older truck for that because I was hurt seeing that truck get messed up like that.
That's what I was saying.
Did that hit your dad feels? That hit your dad bod?
That hit me as a dad. Like, I was like, oh, that's a perfectly good band. Anyways, we get into Cody and Matt Cardona versus the Dark Order. Of course, the match, it's actually a decent match. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed this match.
Cardona is ripped.
Yeah, Cardona. I really like seeing Cardona back on TV and wrestling and being able to be him. Of course, Cody and Cardona get the win. Afterwards, which is I'm gonna like because this is what I wanted to see. Scorpio Sky comes out and basically smiles at Cody and just like points at the belt, knocks on the title, and then walks off. And they make it official. Scorpio Sky versus Cody for the TNT title next week. Then afterwards, we get a segment where Chuck and Trent see what happened to the band. Basically, Chuck T basically says that they made a liar of him because he promised Sue that they're going to look after it. And
if you wanted a rematch, you could have just asked.
Yeah, and then he says,
Elias, I'm sure you marked out for this segment. A lot of people hated on it. I thought it was stupid. Monty, what did you think?
You talking about the part about
the van and everything with the van?
Yeah, that whole deal was just dumbfounded as hell. Like, seriously. First of all, you guys are sore losers. Y'all coming off as sore losers, proud and powerful.
Yeah, you're playing the Hispanic stereotype, which isn't good.
Yeah, I liked it because it played this. I liked it because of the fact that it was hood. And Monty, you know that in the Clark stuff like this happens.
Of course.
So it was funny to me to see that because I was just like, man, this is like straight hood. Like, I was watching it with Matt and I was like, Matt, this is straight hood, and he laughed at it.
I will say this. I'm gonna say this. When I saw this, I said to myself, I'm gonna be out. I said to myself, WWE would never do this.
They would do it, but they wouldn't do it with a new van. They'll get something old and
You remember Randy's NASCAR?
Oh yeah, Kofi messing it up.
Braun Strowman's Buick.
Braun Strowman's Buick,
Yeah, I know,
and then Lesnar destroying a car that Seth Rollins gave what's his name, Jamie Noble and and Joey Mercury.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a fun entertainment segment because of that. It brought nostalgia back to my hood days. Anyways, we get to the debate between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Surprise! Eric Bischoff came out, and basically the crowd and Twitter went wild seeing Eric Bischoff on TNT TV after 20 years. The first questions, basically Jericho was going in on Orange Cassidy, and then then afterwards we get the men's thought on climate change.
I want to get the quote on that, Elias. I'm gonna find that quote
on climate change. Jericho's like, "This isn't wrestling," and then Orange Cassidy just responds with the perfect response. That even like Chris Jericho's just like with his mouth open, just like, "What the hell?" And then Eric Bischoff's like, "Well, we got a debate here." And then
Eric Bischoff is an anti-climate change believer.
Yeah, that's what makes it even funnier. Then afterwards, basically says that what's that? The last question. We get to the last question, and basically he asks him, "Why does this rematch mean so much to both of them?" Chris Jericho starts, and Orange Cassidy gets the mic and says, "Shut up." Then basically Orange Cassidy, this is like the best. I like the first time we hear him talk, but like this is like the most invested I've been in Orange Cassidy in a while. Where he's basically like, Orange Cassidy says, "I know why you booked this debate. You booked it against somebody that doesn't talk. He was just trying to embarrass him." And he's like, "I'm not embarrassed. I don't care." He doesn't care about Jericho. He does care about the match though, because this is the biggest one of his life, and this is the biggest one in Jericho. Jericho tries to shrug it off and ask how, and Orange Cassidy says, "Chris Jericho, he's done it all. So, but what if he loses to a guy like Orange Cassidy?" And he basically says, "Look at me." He takes off his glasses and he's like, "Look at the man who will embarrass you next week." Like that there just like literally was like, it's true. If Orange Cassidy beats Chris Jericho next week, he got embarrassed by a guy that doesn't talk.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
What did Matt think of this?
He enjoyed it. He was really he really enjoyed it was actually, I even enjoyed it. It had the right comedy factor. It made Orange Cassidy look good, and I think that's what they're aiming to do. And for him to talk like that and to actually like basically show the passion, it made it good. Then afterwards, Bischoff declares Orange Cassidy the winner, and then Jericho goes off. He's like, "I haven't liked you in 22 years," and Eric corrects him. He's like, "It's 24 years." And then they basically beat whatchamacallit. Hager comes off and starts beating up Orange Cassidy, puts his hand in his pockets, and then Jericho hits him with the Judas effect. Best friends run down, and Chris Jericho and Hager leave. Then afterwards, we get a segment between Tony Schiavone, ringside with Britt Baker, and Reba asks who he's chosen to face Big Swole. Baker says he chose Reba. Reba looks like he looks horrified and doesn't want to fight. And basically, I hated this segment because Rebel is a really good wrestler, and for them to make her look kind of dumb was kind of stupid. And of course, Big Swole comes out. Big Swole wins the match, of course, because Reba supposedly doesn't know how to wrestle.
I am finally siding with Monty on this Britt Baker stuff. This was a miss. They swung for the fences, didn't miss. They put Monty to sleep, I guess. But yeah.
Anyways, wake your ass up, Montgomery.
Monty, any comments?
Are we done with the Britt Baker situation? Okay, what happened? Sorry. What happened?
That's how much he cares about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Continue.
All right. Anyways, we get into the main event of the night, which is Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah.
The false finishes were perfect. And
MJF
then MJF. Wardlow coming out, distracting the ref, and having MJF come out and knock Moxley out with the belt, and then for Darby Allin to get the coffin drop for the kick out was perfect. And then for
another coffin drop,
and then whatchamacallit, and then to end the match, basically
another coffin drop into a chokehold.
Another one.
Into a chokehold.
Moxley telling Darby, "I know you're not going to tap, so I have to do this." Paul driver, pin 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
In the story.
And then you see as Dynamite goes off the air, Moxley is mad, screaming at the TV and his people. And basically it ends with Moxley holding Darby as a child. Oh, that was a funny ending to Dynamite. Anyways, that was Dynamite in a nutshell. But yeah, that was it, man. We covered everything, literally. Even with the rant, we covered everything.
Covered it all.
So, yeah, join us next week as we come back with another episode covering. Sorry about this week being on a Saturday, but schedule conflict. But next week we'll be back on Friday night, earlier than tonight. We'll be back. We're trying to come earlier these next couple of weeks, see how it works. But join us next week as we bring another jam-packed episode covering next week's action in WWE, NXT, AEW, and Impact, because we need to cover Impact too. Impact has been really good lately. So, Impact, by the way.
Did any of y'all watch Talking Shop?
No, I need to watch it. I found the live stream that has it, but I need to watch it. But yeah, either way, follow me. My social media handle. I am Mr. Laredo. Follow Mr. Unbiased Wrestling Fan, Moines H91. Follow Monty _dollars on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us there. Follow our Weekly Wrestling Heat at _Weekly Heat on Twitter. Follow us at Weekly Wrestling Heat on Instagram. And we'll be getting into a couple of we'll be revamping the Hookah Wrestling podcast into Hookah Heat Talk, or something like that.
That's a horrible.
I gotta figure out a new name for it. But we'll be ramping the Hookah Wrestling podcast into our straight hookah podcast. We'll be a couple of weeks. I'll be doing reviews on a couple of new things that I'm getting in, which is the Alpha X custom hookah Joker based that I'm getting from Peter Smoke USA. Follow them, petersmokeusa.com. And a couple of other goodies that I'm getting in as well. And we'll be hopping on periodically to do reviews, hookah talk with a couple of the hookah industry people. I'm trying to get I'm gonna eventually try to get Hookah John on there for an interview, and just doing stuff like that. So we'll be doing I actually am going to start doing hookah reviews on hookah lounges, and do interviews with hookah lounge owners and store owners that we see. I'm gonna start here in Houston with Muse Hookah. I'm gonna talk to one of the guys, try to get interview with the guy from Muse Hookah, get him on there and talk about.
Yeah, let me know. I got his number.
Yeah, I could communicate regularly with him on Instagram too. So I'm gonna try to get him on there, get a little promotion out there. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the hookah industry. But yeah, that's it pretty much, man. From everybody here at Weekly Wrestling Heat, we are officially out. Peace.